All right, good afternoon. What do you got, Scott?
David? Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. You brought in Kendricks, who knows your system, but otherwise you have a lot of young linebackers who don't have a lot of experience in the league. We've talked to you about Kendricks. Can you talk about some of those other guys, Overshown coming back, and the younger guys, and what you're seeing from them early in this camp?
Yeah, actually, I went in the linebacker room this morning and told them how impressed I was with the way they're doing things. They're getting downhill. Overshown is obviously very, very athletic. He missed a lot of the spring. Damone Clark has been, I think he's been outstanding. Marist has done a really, really nice job for a rookie. So, I feel really good about those four guys. And then, these other guys are coming along just to kind of see where they're at.
Mike was saying earlier today, while it's a young room, he's generally had success when you have a lot of young linebackers in a core. You found that to kind of bear out from your experience as
well?
well?
I'm trying to think back, but yeah, I mean, football players, right? These guys have gotten downhill. They're understanding coverages really well. They've done a nice job with the pressure package. I think they got a chance to be a really good group.
To a Football Star Telegram, what's the biggest difference for you? The scheme or them being disciplined and doing the fundamental sound? Does that all go together? And how will that make a difference for this defense?
If I understand your question correctly, I think that the biggest thing, it's different for them. Obviously, it's not as different for me, but we've kept some wrinkles in that they've had here in the past, and we're asking them to do different things than what they've done before. I've tried to be demanding on what they're doing. I try to be demanding on myself with doing that. But so far, I've been very impressed with the way they've gone about their business, the way they're trying to do what we're asking them to do. Really all three areas of the defense. So, it's been good. Even the older guys, I talked to them about, old dogs learning new tricks and things like that too. So it's been good.
You have the same bite?
Well, I haven't had to use it much, but I've probably got the same bite. But no, I'm trying to be very specific about what we want and make sure that they understand exactly what we want. I think that the other coaches are doing a really good job. We meet together a decent amount with the whole group because I want them all to know what everybody's doing and where they're supposed to be, and who's doing a good job and who needs to do a better job here or there. But no, I've been impressed with this group. I really have. I heard all this stuff come when I came here, this and that, but I just go by what I see, and what I see has been good.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. Have you had a player as diverse as Micah with all the different things that you can do with him? He was talking about all the different packages that you got going with him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I ever had, obviously I've had some really good players with, Deion Sanders, Daniil Hunter, guys that we've been able to do a lot of different things with. But with him, I don't know that he couldn't play every position. He could probably play free safety if he wanted to. Now I don't want him back there covering pass very much, but no, he's brilliant. Number one, he understands football. Number two, we've been meeting in the mornings a lot. Paul Gunther's done a really good job with him, but I sit in there with him and Trayvon, and we talk about protections and schemes, offenses, or what they're trying to do, how they're going to attack him, things like that.
Has Paul become, I don't want to say just Micah's coach, but has he become like the Micah whisperer in any kind of way? With what you want him to do and everything?
Well, Paul coaches everybody, but he's had a what's the best way to say it? He's had he's been able to get to know Micah better than anybody really. He went to his camp and Harrisburg, I think he said it was, so he spent a lot of time in the off season with him as well.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. You talk about Micah is brilliant. Can you think of another player who's had such a high football IQ at that level?
Yeah, I mean, most of the good players have extremely high IQ and understand things. Darren Woodson, when he's here, Prime, he was very smart. Anthony Barr for me in Minnesota. Kendricks has always been smart too. So, I think it just helps. Like with Kendricks, him being here, he settles everything down. He makes the calls, gets guys lined up. If we have to make checks and adjustments and things like that, it helps. But honestly, I think Micah could do a lot of that, if we put that on his plate.
I'm sorry, Scott. When you first approached Micah with, hey, all these different things I want to do with you, what was his initial reaction? Was he like, yes, let's do it, or what was his reaction?
It was just more like, this is what we're thinking. This is how we want to use you. He was good with it. It wasn't like, hey, this is the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever or anything. It was just normal business. He wants to be great, obviously, and obviously he is great. If we can help him to continue to be a little bit better all the time, he's done a nice job trying to be a good leader. He's done a nice job with some of the younger guys. So, I don't know what he said when he was here. I heard he was here for like 25 minutes, but. Huh?
Say he loved you.
Oh, good.
Athletic. So Mike has said when he was up here that he believes he's a very coachable player. Have you seen that? And in your job in the NFL, how common is it for a player to be a coachable player?
99.9% are coachable. Yeah. But no, he's coachable. Yeah. I mean, I talked to him this morning. We were sitting there watching tape, and I talked to him about something, where I think he would be more effective if he did this, and he agreed. So, but great players want to be coached. Players want to get better, and if my philosophy has always been, if they think you can help them and you know what you're doing, they're going to listen. Because their career is not very long, and so the more they can become better and better, obviously the better for the team and better for their careers.
The Athletic. Mike, one thing you said you wanted to get guys to understand what they're doing, but Micah said something that really has impressed him most about you is you always explain why, why you want them to do what they're doing. Where did that kind of philosophy come in for you, and the way of coaching, and how how have you seen the results of that?
Well, I think that's part of when we meet as a group. I try to explain how this person is doing this affects somebody else, and so on and so forth. And so, it's important. It's important for me that the defensive line just doesn't know pass rush. They need to be able to know what the linebackers are doing. And, I used to, a lot of time, I haven't done it yet this year, but, I'd ask the defensive end, what's the corner doing cover two? What's the safety do? What's his vision spot? I want them to know the game of football, not just their position, because I think so many guys learn their spot and they kind of get tunnel vision. But I'm trying to get them to open up, where it can help them be a better football player. If we're overloaded on the one side and the offense is checking away from some pressure over there, they know that, hey, the run's probably coming to me now if I'm away from them. So I just try to tell them that, I don't know, that's just what I do.
I'm sure you watched a lot of Deron Bland last year from afar, but what have your impressions been of him, working with him, and then also how exciting is the prospect of Trayvon now coming back and having those two guys on the outside?
Yeah, it's great when you have two corners that can play. I was kidding him both the other day. I said, because we got some coverages where we're taking guys away, and things like that. And I said, hey, if corners can cover, we don't need any of this stuff. We're just going to go ahead and let you guys get out there on the island and take care of business. But Deron, he's done a really, really good job. He's quick out of the break. He's understanding things. I think Al's doing a great job with him. I'm excited to get Trayvon out there with him. you got two good corners, you got a chance to have something special.
Mike Bradsham, Cowboys Radio. All this new stuff, when you go on the field against an opponent a week from Saturday and Sunday, how much of that will simple folks like us be able to recognize?
Yeah, Brad, I don't know how much we're gonna have to talk to Mike about the preseason games and exactly how much we're gonna do and that kind of thing. But I mean, if you see us and we're playing blocks and we're not getting cut out of gaps and linebackers are getting to the right place and the corners in the secondary run force in the right way, we get a crack and crack replace. I think those are the kind of things that a layman can kind of see where, oh man, that nose tackle, he took on a double team so the linebacker can go instead of, letting this guy go running up the field and I'm not saying anything about anybody else. I'm just talking about us.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. Just being around the game again every single day, being back in Oxnard, back in this organization, have you allowed yourself to kind of feel the emotions being here?
I'm gonna be honest with you, it took me a long time to get used to having stars and Cowboys on me. Every time I'd see an article, I'd see that Viking helmet and, so it took a little while. But no, I feel good about it. I feel, my daughter said, man, you seem like you're so happy now. So I'm enjoying being around the players. I'm enjoying being around the coaches. Obviously when I get a chance with the owners, it's like old times, and I've had a good time with Mike, so all that's really good.
Dan Greenspan, Associated Press. Head coach and a coordinator have very different sort of job responsibilities. Is there something you've enjoyed being back in the day-to-day of defensive coordinator?
Well, when I was the head coach, I was also really the defensive coordinator, so I'm still doing a lot of the same things. I don't worry too much about, the offense like I had to do. This part, it's not as good, but because I had to do that about every day then. But no, it's been a lot of fun getting around the guys. I think, getting in the meeting room and, joking with guys, with the players, joking with the coaches, giving each other a hard time. That's what we do anyway. So.
Scales, Cowboys Radio on the fan in regards to Trayvon and Duron, but actually some of the great cornerbacks that you've been around. What's the common denominator on the guys who are really not just interceptions but breaking on the ball? Because it seems like there's a risk reward when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the right position, you have a chance to go get the football. If you're chasing a guy and you're hip to hip, he's when he breaks out, you're going to take 3 more steps and he's going to catch the ball. But if you're in the right position and he breaks out, then you can put that upfield foot in the ground and drop your shoulders and be like a sprinter coming out of the blocks. Understand, a lot of understanding splits, understanding formations. Dion was really good at all those things. He had extremely strong hands too, but I think all those things combined, it's not just pure athletic ability. It's understanding, it's scheme. Where you get help, where you don't get help. A lot of different areas like that.
Mike, it's when coaches step away for a year or two, they evolve their scheme, and Dan Quinn talked about how he changed some things. Has your scheme evolved from when you were last in Minnesota, or is that something that happens anyway because the game has changed year to year?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you're always going to have your principles of what you believe and what you do, and but yeah, I mean, you're always trying to figure out a way to do something better, and they've done some stuff here that was good that we've kept, and a lot of the calls are maybe a little bit different for me right now, so I'm getting used to spitting that out much quicker than in the past, I wouldn't have to think. It just boop, boop, comes out. But yeah, I think you're always trying to figure out a little better mousetrap.
2 things to finish up. You worked out 4 guys today. What are you looking for at defensive end?
Well, really someone, Sam Williams was a big loss. We anticipated him being, 70% of the time playing. So we're looking for some more depth at end, really, at the end of the day. No, we're going to meet on tomorrow.
Secondly, Mazi, what have you seen? So much talk about Mazi.
I'm so glad you asked, because if no one asked about that, I was going to mention it today.
Okay.
So there you go.
So much talk about Mazi and what he means. And can you talk about what you see from him and expectations?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I believe, regardless of what I hear on the outside, what we're asking him to do, he's doing a really good job. You know, you may not see him make flash plays, but we see him taking on double teams, getting his hands in the right place. I see him, you know, understanding where he's supposed to be. You know, he's not going to be a speed rusher by any stretch. You know, he's going to have to be a power rusher and push the pocket. But as far as the run game, what I've seen so far, I've been impressed with him. He's doing a really good job. You know, now he's got to keep it up. But I've enjoyed what I've seen with him, along with the rest of the defensive line. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.